Hi guys! So today's video is going to be a hair tutorial for these retro inspired waves, which I've been wearing a lot recently because with shorter hair I'm always looking for different ways to switch it up, and this is actually a lot easier to do than it may seem. So why don't we get right into it and I'll show you exactly how I did it step by step. So first things first, I am working with second day hair, which I did partially dry so that it didn't air dry too wavy, and then I wanted to let it air dry a little bit so that I had some natural volume because I'm not going to be using a lot of root lifting products for this tutorial, so that gives me a little bit of volume to start off. So first I'm going to work a couple drops of my NuMe Argan Oil into my hair, and this is going to make my hair really smooth and shiny and soft, but I'm applying it before my styling tools because it's also a heat protectant, so it's definitely a couple different things in one product, which is great, and I'm going to go back to this later. I'm sectioning off my hair half up, half down, and then I'm going to reach for my Lustrum 5-in-1 curling wand by NuMe. I've raved about this thing so many times. I feel like it's really all you need because it's great quality, so it's going to last you a long time, and it comes with so many different sized attachments, and I am using the 25mm attachment here. So the biggest difference with this style is that I'm curling the sections towards my face. That's going to give you the retro look to your waves, and I'm trying to wrap the ends of my hair around as much as I can around the barrel of the wand. It doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, with this lower section or the section on the bottom, a lot of times I just go through really quickly because not that many people are going to see underneath the top layer of your hair. So I just kind of try to go around my head and get these sections done as quickly as possible. And you can see by curling the sections away from my face, I'm basically just wrapping them over top of that curling wand, which I really like to use for styles like this because I feel like it really holds the curl on the second day as well, which is great because your style lasts longer and you don't have to do as many touch-ups. So that's kind of what a little curl looks like when you're done. And then I prefer using a couple different layers of a light hold hairspray. I'm using the Be Yourself hairspray by Framesi. I'm not exactly sure how to say that, but I feel like it's better than using a really strong hold crunchy hairspray because we're just going to be brushing through these waves later anyways. So then I'm going to let down the top section. And we're going to go through almost the exact same process with the top. I want to brush through it to make sure that my curls look smoother when they're laying on the iron. So I'm going to start in the front and again curling towards my face and trying to wrap it really evenly onto the iron. But this time for that top section, I'm going to give it a little bit more va-va-voom by pinning the section. So here's my awkward catch of that curl, but I'm going to hold it for a second so I don't burn my hands, and then use a little flat duckbill clip, a little metal clip like these, and just pin it down to my head. And it does not have to be perfect. Some people do this all over their head, but I feel like it's so much quicker and still pretty effective to just do the top pieces around, basically around my part or around my crown. So I'm continuing on to the other side, and you can see they're not laying perfectly against my head. It's just a really, however you can get them pinned down as quick as possible so they can cool in that position. And they're going to be so much bouncier and voluminous because we're clipping them up. One more thing you might notice, I like to do a really deep side part with this style because I feel like it gives you more hair on the one side to kind of come down over your face and give you that sexy classic look. So I'm just continuing around my head, and I'm not pinning every single section I curl in the top section, just the few that I feel like are going to make the most impact. So while I'm finishing up these last few sections, if you're interested in the styling tool that I used today, I have some links and some codes for you guys. So if you use the code ANGELFOODCAKE, which is the most adorable code ever, you get 40% off the entire NuMe site and free shipping to the US. If you use the code LEMONDROP, you'll get $100 off the Lustrum curling wand that I used in this tutorial or any NuMe styling set. So make sure you check out the info box down below for all links and codes. So again, I think this style is really, really easy The trickiest part is coming up with something to occupy your time while you're letting your cools curl down. Your curls cool down. I'm going to take out the duckbill clips, and as you can see, these curls, because we pin them up, just have a little bit more spring in their step. They are kind of just jiggly and bouncy, and it gives them a really kind of voluminous type of look to them. So what I'm going to do now is take this brush. Now this actually has natural bristles mixed with plastic bristles, which is what you want for this, because you're going to gently brush through the curls and that's going to loosen them up, but it's also going to add some shine to them and smooth them out. But you want those dual bristles in there, because just a regular plastic bristle brush isn't going to add as much shine to the style. But you can see how they really retain their shape and just kind of spring back up and give you that really soft, classic look. So after I've brushed through everything and it looks pretty smooth, I'm going to take some more hairspray, and like I said, I like to spray that on in layers so that everything holds but it's not too crunchy. And then I'm going to take a little volumizing teasing comb that I've had forever. I think I got this at Sally's, and I don't want to rough everything up too much. I don't want to add too much texture, but I just want to make it a little bit more fluffy almost, and widen the curls and thicken it up at the bottom so that it goes out to the side a bit more. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm mostly focusing on the ends. And you really just want to play with it until you get the look you want. The good thing about these type of waves is that they're really sculptable, so you can kind of just mold it into whatever look you want. I like to usually do one side behind my ear. And then for some final polish, I'm going to take a little bit more of that argan oil and work it through my ends just to add even more shine. I do feel like I get a lot of compliments on how shiny my hair is when I use this product, which always impresses me because I do have chemically lightened hair that tends to not be very shiny on its own. So here I'm just adding a few teeny tiny little sections, curling them the opposite direction just to break it up a little bit. I don't do this when I go through and curl my whole head just because I don't feel like you need to. Just a few does the trick. I'm going to brush through everything one more time and just kind of get it situated how I want it, and that is the finished look. So I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. This has definitely been my current go-to look, so I just wanted to show you guys how I do it. Thank you so much for watching. I love you guys, and as always, I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye!